Hello, 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 and welcome to the Heart, Mind, and Voice Show. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
It's your girl Shalonda, known as Coach Shalonda. We have your girl Kim, known as Miss Serious K.
Hello.
And we have your girl Kanee, known as Queen A. How are you ladies doing tonight?
It is
Great.
a great time. It's the weekend, so we on the show, so it's good.
So it's good, it's all good.
It's all good.
We want to
Yes.
say hello to our HMV fam. We're so glad to be here tonight. We have a show for you as always. We have topics and info for you. Let's get right into it. But before we get to into our show, we always ask, how was our week? Did we have anything exciting happen this week? Or was it just one of those crazy weeks? What you ladies think? Yeah, I would say it was crazy, but y'all tell me.
I had a 50-year-old week. I ain't 50 yet, but knocking on the door. But one of those weeks where you just kind of taking it day by day and just, hey, like, let me make it to the next day. I'm tired, but I'm gonna make it. It was a 50-year week this week.
I like that.
But I made it to the weekend.
Maybe I had a 50-year-old week. It was kind of, well, they supposed to be crazy with 50. I pray. What about you?
I'm the baby in the group, y'all. I'm the baby.
How was your week, Queen A, Miss Baby Queen A?
I feel like Kim, when she said it's been like a 50 week. This week it's been good, but it's been a pressing week where I felt like I had to press in to get some stuff accomplished and done. So it was a pressing week, but it was still good.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I felt like pressing. Wow. Okay, so I'm gonna combine 50-year-old and see. I had a crazy week. 50, that's crazy.
You have a 20-year-old week.
And then to hear about all of the COVID cases that are wrapping up, I'm ramping up. I'm sure you guys are hearing about that and how the states are going crazy. And we're in one of the states that's at the top as far as the numbers in the state of Texas. Queen A, you're in the state of Georgia. I don't even know if Georgia's at the top, but I do know Texas is definitely at the top.
Well, the numbers have definitely increased. I think Georgia is up there, but I don't think it's high as Florida and Texas.
Exactly. So. And I wonder why.
Y'all doing the most in Texas.
Yes. Literally, they're doing the most. Let's get out and vote. So moving on, let's get straight into our hot topics. Again, we love you, HMB fam. We're so glad that you guys have joined in. Hello, hello, hello. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube, and like and share on our Facebook channel, whichever one you're streaming in on. So let's
Hi, Miss Louise. We love you too.
I love you too, Mama Scott. Miss you. Hi, Nikki.
My mom is always supporting. Isn't that sweet? I love you, Mom. Then she gonna fuss at me later and say, "Girl, I was trying to watch my church." I think our church stream at the same time. Don't be surprised if she say something about it. But let's get off into our hot topics tonight, ladies. We have two very interesting hot topics. We want to start off with the Dr. Dre situation with his daughter. I'm sure you ladies have looked it up and heard more and more and more. I mean, it's so many media takes on this. As far as Dr. Dre's oldest daughter is homeless and she's living out of her SUV. And did you guys hear that her SUV is a rental? I don't know. It's a rental, so she paid like a percentage on it. She hasn't even paid the full month note, so she's not sure if, I don't know how many months or whatever she's behind, but she's afraid because she does, I believe, DoorDash and and whatever, Uber Eats or whoever, delivers the food to make money, to make ends meet. And then I also read where her kids are living with friends.
Yes.
So that's a really rough take. And I guess what we wanted to get out of this, how do you feel? First of all, how do you feel about him not supporting her or haven't reached out to support her as of yet? This time, because I did see in the past that I think she even admitted that he has helped her in the past. But this time she needs a place to stay, for her and her children. And as far as some money to live, until she can get on her feet. So how y'all feel about him not being able to, or not wanting to, not being able because he's crazy rich, but not reaching out to help her, and where she's taking it to the blogs? How do you guys feel about that?
Hmm.
Hey, tell me, what do you think?
Well, so in my opinion, I feel like, just reading the story a little bit more. I feel like he probably, it's like that hard love, that tough love. I think
Mhm,
she had like 4 kids or something like that. She had,
mhm.
so he's probably like, well, wait, you lay down, you have all these babies, know you can't afford that lifestyle with all these kids, and you expect me to support you. But she said he did help her out in the past with rent and so forth. So he probably put a limit, like, hey, I help you out for 6 months or a year, and then from there you got to get it together. So from there, she's kind of sad. I feel like he really needs to kind of help out though, especially having the kids. Like, maybe just putting her in a place for a year, but saying after this year, I can't go any further in helping you. Especially because she's in a situation. But he's upset that she's calling him out. She's putting the information in
Mhm.
the public, letting them know what's going on with the both of them. So I get it with the tough love though. I show my son tough love at times, and it hurts. It hurts like hell. But sometimes you have to do it because some kids feel privileged. And because of that, they may kind of take advantage. If you give a child and say, look, you don't have to pay rent for a year, some kids may take advantage. Some kids may do something with it, where others may kind of take advantage, just kind of sit there, party, or just do whatever, become lazy. So I think when you have responsibility, you mature in life.
Yeah. What do you think, Serious
Yeah.
K? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely think that I mean, I don't know if she's an irresponsible person. I don't know why, if that's why he won't help her out. Maybe he's helped her in the past and maybe she didn't do what she was supposed to do. I don't know, because she did mention that he used to help her, but he cut her off. She said because she speaks out. So I'm kind of wondering, is there something else to that? Is it because she's not responsible? Maybe she's not good with money. I'm not sure. But when it comes to your young adult children, I think that it's okay to help them until they, get on their feet or whatever, especially if they're showing themselves responsible. Now, if you know that they're not good with money, they're not responsible, they don't do what they're supposed to do with it, then, maybe you want to kind of, show them a little tough love, like, hey, okay, this time I'm not going to help you. It's on you. Because
Right.
I know a lot of people that they're taking care of the grandkids, the
Right.
grown
Yep.
kids, they're paying their kids' bills, and that's doing nothing but handicapping them. And when
Yeah.
they don't get what they want, then they get mad and they want to go off and talk about the parents, and stuff like that. So I'm wondering, is this what she's doing? Like, is she kind of retaliating because he cut her off? So I don't know, but yeah, but just like Queen A said, I think I'll just like, hey, listen, this is it. This is the last time. I'm giving you enough for you and your kids to get on your feet and do what you need to do. Don't come back again. I'll call you. I'll talk to you later.
Mhm.
I definitely agree with both you ladies. I definitely I have a different spin on it, a different take on it, being that grandchildren are involved and not just one, but several.
Right.
I know that when I was growing up, my grandparents definitely cared about their children, and my grandparents helped raise a few of the children. And, if my cousins are watching, and as well as my aunts and uncles, I'm telling the truth. Raise some of the kids, because they weren't available, whatever the case, may have been. But I would say, especially with him being in the position that he's in, if she's not responsible as far as handling money, I think that he should, put them in a place because of the grandchildren, put them in a place and give her a year to figure it out, whatever she's going to do. Give her, if she's going to get a job, go to school, whatever she's going to do, give her a year to figure things out as far as, where she can get back on her feet, especially if that's what she's saying, she needs to get back on her feet, because it's not her friend's responsibility to raise her children. That's
Right.
not, and that's her responsibility. And it's part of his. He's a grandparent. So,
All right.
so part of his, but he should step in, because, or have his people,
Well, what happened to the mother?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not sure,
I
but
know.
because the mom is not, maybe the mom is available. Of course, she's not like, Dr. Dre has the money like Dr. Dre, or she would have went to
Mhm.
her. I am biased when it comes to sons and daughters. I may reach out more to a daughter versus a son because boys are built differently.
Mhm.
They're they're different than females, so I definitely would reach out a little bit more. But if it me being in that situation, if it was my
Right.
grandchildren, I would definitely have my people, my team, my accountant, or whoever's responsible for divvying out money, put a plan in place for her for a year for her and the kids, and make
Right.
sure they're taken care of. Make sure that she can get some direction. I will assign someone to give her some direction. And if he has a business, I'm not sure if he has businesses. Put her to work and put her on the payroll. Put her
Right.
on the payroll and have her working for him. I'm sure he has a business, or businesses, but put her on the payroll, have her doing some work, whatever it is, admin, whatever, until she can get, whatever
Mhm.
she needs or wherever she's going.
Now,
And that
I'm
way she can
wondering.
afford her life. What did you say, Queen A?
I'm wondering. She has 4 kids. So was she married, or was just it was just kind of
Yeah, that's my question too. I'm like, where are the fathers? That's
Right,
their kids are their responsibility too.
right? And
right.
this
You
and
know,
this is how. So it's sad to hear it, but looking at
yeah.
both sides, we don't know the situation where he probably helped out several times, and he got to the
I'm
point where
sure he did. Yeah.
yeah,
And she
he got
even
to the
said
point.
it. Yeah. She even admitted to it. But, being that it's where is it now? And then, already know he's in the press for something else, going through a rough divorce, but having that press, and that's just more ammunition for her to get even more money to her attorney to
Exactly.
just say, see,
Mhm.
he's not helping,
Yeah.
your own child,
And he probably
that's
was.
great evidence. But
He
go ahead.
probably was help. He probably, like I said, he probably was. And it got to the point where he's like, enough is enough.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the grandchildren have to suffer in the process. But
Yeah.
sometimes it's like we do got to take. I don't condone it per se, especially a woman that have children. But we don't know the whole full story. It is sad,
Right.
but I know I get to the point with my son, and I'm like, enough is enough. And sometimes
Yeah.
cut them off so they can learn tough love. I know my grandparents raised me for the most part, and they have very much tough love. Like, I mean, they didn't even care. I'm like, God.
But I
See,
think when you're in a
yeah.
position to help, I think when you're in a position to help, and you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to just
Mhm.
give and give and give, but you can help them put a plan in place. He's able to do it. He can help her put a plan in place
Mhm.
or assign some people to help her put a plan in place. That's his daughter
Right.
and his grandchildren. So he's in that position to
Hmm.
help her somehow. And it doesn't all have to be financially. He can help
Yeah.
her.
Right.
Okay, so you are required to go to school. If you want my help, you
Mhm.
have to do this, whatever the plan is, but you have to get your life on track because
Right.
I am not your ATM. I am not your
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
because we
But
do
you
it all
said
the time.
something.
Go ahead,
Mhm.
serious cat.
I was just gonna say, Queen A, she said something. When I think about it, see, the way we were raised back then, we were
Right.
raised with tough love. So the
Right.
way people are raising their kids now is
Not tough
different
love. Yeah.
because I mean, I've been a single parent and it's kind of hard for me to speak on this because I was raised with tough love.
See,
And,
right.
I kind of want to say something like, you better get up and do what you need to do for your children.
Mhm.
That's what's in the back of my
Right.
mind because that's
Yes.
what I
Kids are raised like
if
that.
your dad,
They're not
because
tough.
what if your dad didn't have it? Then what would you do then? What would
Mhm.
you do?
Right.
So I
It's
don't
it's
know. It's
So
entitlement.
the
complicated,
reality
man.
is he is there and he can help. And
That's
like I said,
right.
it doesn't have to be financially. He can help her get a
Yeah.
plan in place. Or if he doesn't want to have anything to do with that, assign some people to help her get her life on track. Because he
Mhm.
is,
Yeah.
in that position.
But
So
these kids lately,
tough
they have a
call.
sense of entitlement. They feel like they
Yeah, they do.
entitled. And let me
Yeah,
tell
they
you
do.
something. Right.
They'll
So
try to use the kids, girl. They'll try to use the kids.
right. And that's why I said I'm pretty sure. I mean, from what he's like, I don't he doesn't seem that way, but again, like I do agree he should put some plan and help her, but we don't know the whole full story and logistics. He probably, like I say, he probably tried to help her before. And then the thing is like where were the kids? Like where were the kids' father? And why do you have 4 kids and you're not necessarily involved or married? Something could happen. I don't know. But you got to think about because my child, If he had 4 kids and he wasn't married and he keep coming to me for help, no, sorry, can't do it. The kids can stay with me, but you're gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah,
So
that's a tough call. I tell you.
That's
Well,
a good
HMP fam, yeah, tell us what you guys think about that situation and how would you handle it if you were in that situation? We already know what Queen A and Sirius K would do. Look, figure it out. Point blank, period.
especially if you grew up that way. You grew up with, when you had to figure it out. And guess what? I mean, I gained a lot of wisdom. I mean, I hate the experiences that I've had, but I've gained so much wisdom out of that by that tough love.
Yeah.
And I hate it, but at the same time, it gave me a lot of a lot of wisdom when it comes to life.
Yeah, I definitely I moved away from home at 18. And did not look back, did not go back, and it was definitely rough. But I will say, being that now, I had a type. I was in their situation. I had a daughter in particular that was, going through what she's going through. I would definitely have someone help her get her life, or I would help her get her life on track, and get my grandbabies, life in order. So that's just my take on it. But that's a tough call. I really hope they work that situation out and things work out, for all of them good. So, well, let's move on from that situation. Now, we want to talk about, this topic right here. I don't have nothing good to say.
Wait, hold on. Meek. Hi, Meek. Is Meek? Is it Meek? Figure it out. Take care of your kids.
Have another one.
Listen, she said, figure it out. Take care of your kids. You'll appreciate the end game. I know that's right.
Wow. All right. So let's move on to our second hot topic now. Okay. So we want to talk about the flight aggression, the airline flight aggression, the duct tape. I am totally. I mean, I have my own words to say about this.
People going crazy
talk about this. Just the thought about duct taping somebody, and even though I understand they were completely, totally in the wrong, but I have my own spin on that. But Queen A, since this was your thing, you go ahead and tell me what's your thoughts on this.
Let me tell you, people out there getting crazy, y'all. People are insane. I mean, this pandemic, we were already kind of crazy, but this pandemic got people going to a whole nother level.
Yes,
so it was on Frontier Airlines. This guy, he got on the plane. He was drunk, a little tipsy, and he started to touch the flight attendants, and then he started yelling out, cursing at people and everything. People kept telling him, be quiet. He was just disturbing the flight and disturbing passengers, disturbing the flight attendants. They kept warning him, and he just would not stop. Some of the comments he made, like, I'm white, I guess he feel white and privileged, right? So he's like, I'm white. He's also saying stuff like, my mother is worth, my parents is worth $2 million. So I guess he's saying he had the right. So this sense of entitlement. So he's just been acting a fool, y'all. And what happened was, one of the flight attendants, there was a guy who just kind of held him down and taped him to his seat and covered his mouth with duct tape. So he just stopped and they have a peaceful flight. But what happened was they end up suspending the flight attendant because they said that's not the way to restrain, someone that's flying. Now they didn't know any other way because they was already in the air. So what do you do in that situation? Like when you're already in the air and the person just acting crazy, how do you handle that situation? Especially you telling him to sit down, he's coming out his seat and he's just doing the most. So what would you do? How would you handle it?
Sirius K, how would you handle it?
Okay, so
duct tape. Just a hashtag team duct tape.
So y'all can kind of guess what I'm gonna say.
Right.
Hashtag team duct tape. Okay. You can't be acting a fool mid-air because first of all, I put myself in those passenger shoes. How would I be feeling if there's a passenger on there and they're belligerent? Okay, nobody really loves to fly. Okay. You have to fly, you got to get to where you are, but we are 20, 30,000 feet up in the air. You clowning, you acting a fool. What if a fight breaks out? You know what I'm saying? Somebody would have hit him. He said something crazy to somebody. Somebody hit him. A fight breaks out. What do? They don't have the authorities on there. What are they called? Flight marshals. Is that what they're called? Something like that. But anyway, so what do you do? And I think it's the flight attendant. The captain can't get up and go do nothing. So it's the flight attendant's responsibility to try to calm this person down. And if they can't calm them down, they have to find a way to restrain them. I don't know, put them in the bathroom, lock them in the bathroom, something. But if all they had was duct tape, use what you got. You got to work with what you got. Duct tape that joker. I don't care what you duct tape them to, but duct tape them.
So serious.
The other crazy lady was spitting on people. It's COVID. See? What do you do? Duct tape.
So this is what he done. So he went into the bathroom, right? So they couldn't even lock him in the bathroom. He went into the bathroom. He took off his shirt and came back. And so they was like, "Sir, you have to put on your shirt." So remember we had our special co-host Donald on the show the other day, and we were talking about Karen in Bath and Body Works, or Victoria's Secret. Sorry, Victoria's Secret. And he said, "Look, Karen and Ken. Now we got a Ken.
We got a Ken. Yeah."
So like just straight acting a plump fool. Like people are really getting crazy.
Oh my God.
That makes everybody nervous on the plane. Like, come on now.
It does, but then think about if you're in a confrontation with someone, and knowing all of us, we're not going to start a confrontation. But what if it happens? Because anything is possible. Can't say, "Oh no, that won't happen," But what if it happened? And then they duct tape you and that individual. I think that air marshals should be put back if they're taking off the flights. They should be put back on the flights. Right. And there should be an area where they, have put them in handcuffs so they won't fight everybody else. Like you guys said, when they are moving, throughout the flight, they won't, hit anybody or they won't attack anyone. But put handcuffs on them. Right. And then escort them to an area where it's just them and the air marshals. So it's clear the air marshals are needed. If they have voted them out, vote them back in. We're constantly hearing about, trouble on the flights. And it makes you a little apprehensive to want to fly. You're like, Lord, because I don't want to be in a situation where I get into an altercation with someone and they duct tape me and that person to the seat. What if they duct tape you, serious guy, to the seat?
You know what this makes me think about? Remember 911, and they told the story about the guy that had the bomb on him, and the other guy was on the phone. One of the passengers was on the phone with his wife, and he said they band together and they said, "Let's roll, let's get him." So I was reading what Meek said. "I help you. He's not risking my life." Okay, if I'm on there, I'm helping.
Right. Exactly.
But okay, like you said, Coach Shalonda, if I'm having a fight with somebody, they duct tape me. Well, then they just duct tape me. It is what it is. They don't have cuffs, so they got to duct tape me.
That is almost like dehumanizing. That is almost like dehumanizing. I just think that air marshals should be put in place, and there should.
Yes, I agree. But since they didn't have that, then what do they do?
Just be in handcuffs, because if you're in handcuffs, you can't do nothing.
And right. You're right. They should have air marshals or somebody, but in that instance, you don't know what to do. Like somebody just acting crazy, like they drink. And when people drink and they drunk, they beside themselves. They're not thinking right. They just doing things. And no matter how many times they warned this guy, listen, you got to be quiet. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. He was just constantly touching the flight attendants. He was cursing out people, and he felt like he had the right to do so.
Well, I tell you now, with the Karens in place, it is possible that all of us can have a showdown on flights. And so, I don't want to be in handcuffs or duct tape, but I'm just saying, pick. Okay, put me in handcuffs, because I'm gonna kill this hoe. But I'm just saying, you don't want either or. But I think
what else could they have done?
Something. Right. I think they should have something in place for that, for him. And like I said, if you do move, someone that's crazy, mentally disturbed, if you do move him and he's not restrained, he can attack someone else, because everybody's going to be looking at. And our culture, we're the first one to bite back. You say something to me, I'm gonna say something to you back. what you looking at? What the hell you looking at? You the crazy one. And then there you go. So I think the air marshal should be put back in place. Clearly.
I think that he's trying to sue though. I believe he's trying to sue.
Who's trying to sue?
It says something about assault and battery. So it's just
Donald said zip ties. Oh Lord.
Hey Donald.
Yeah, give them zip ties.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
It's like, what would you do in that instance? Like you're a flight attendant and you have someone like getting up. He's supposed to be sitting down with his seatbelt. He's taking off his shirt. He's feeling on you as a flight attendant. Like, what would you do? I'll probably get in trouble because I probably would have smacked him or something.
Yeah, I would have gotten in trouble. I don't know if I would have thought of duct tape. Obviously we have talked about that. Clearly it's very obvious.
Remember that happened with the girl
together and talked about that. Go ahead.
Remember before with the other woman in Series K, we talked about this the other day with the woman. This was years ago, who was also duct tape on the airline.
Wow.
So I forgot what Kim, what airline was it when
it was just a few months ago. Actually, that was American.
See,
a few months ago. American, and she was spitting and hissing at people. She was just doing all kinds of stuff, but they taped her to the chair and they taped her mouth too because she was spitting at people.
And what was the name of these airlines? Frontier, and who was the other one?
This was American.
American.
No, look, you're going to fly Delta. You don't never hear nothing about Delta.
You don't never hear anything about Delta, and I would say that Delta, they're very professional. Very professional. They high as hell, but very, very professional, and get you where you're going. And you never see them, in the media for something trivial, such as this, or your life is at stake, or duct taping and all that. Stun gun, that's a real good one. Yeah, stun gun, that's a real good one too. I would agree with that. But I don't know. Maybe that's a part of their training. Like, let's get some duct tape and take. I didn't know duct tape. I didn't know you can duct tape an individual. Didn't know that. Wow. But I watch all the scary movies, and I think it's scary. So you know how they over exaggerate in Hollywood. So I think real life you can actually duct tape, someone. But that's really, really, really sad. I really would say, that they need to get some authority in place. Serious K, they really do.
Yeah, they do.
I know everybody is not going to want to fly Delta, because there are other deals.
Like Donald said, get the zip ties and the stun guns. Give them something. They need something to apprehend these people.
Stun guns, stuff like that, to kind of get them in order. But yeah, because everybody flies, the crazy, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever. Get on a flight. And I just would hate to be on a flight. You have to think about that. You go places often.
Yeah.
I would hate to be on a flight. And 9 times out of 10, it is not going to be my fault nor your fault, Serious K. And you get into this altercation with someone. And I would just hate.
They have to duct tape me down, girl. They gotta duct tape me down.
I would just hate it. They gotta duct tape me down. That's really, really.
Just don't do my mouth because I'm kind of claustrophobic. Just don't do my mouth. You can do my arms.
And put it on your mouth because you won't be quiet.
I'll be begging. I'll be quiet. Okay, I'll shut up. Okay.
That's crazy. Well, speaking of flight aggression, let's get into this public aggression, y'all. Lord have mercy, fighting in public. Now, of course, we talked about the Karens. We talked about these crazy people that get on the flights and feel like they're King Kong, and, and flight attendants feel like they're Iron Man, whatever you want to call them. But let's talk about when we see couples in public having an argument or actually tearing it up, or you see 2 people fighting. And I've always have, I think about this now because it's even more so now with all of our media, our electronics, our phones and everything. The minute we see an outbreak, whether it's an argument or a fight, we forget about helping the individual. Like someone said in our family, I would help, but we pull out our phone and we start recording and not helping this individual. Now, what if we see a man, 9 times out of 10, a man is going to be beating that woman down, but we'll take out our phone
Right.
and record them. So, that to me, that's where me will personally step in, because I just can't. Yeah, it's good to record so you can have that, that footage for court and all the other things. But you're trying to help someone too. You're trying to help save someone's life, or whatever the case may be. Others won't get hurt. But we see that even more so now. And why don't we see more people helping versus watching on the
Coach
side?
Shalonda.
Yes.
So remember, you told me the story, right? Your
Mhm.
son. By the way, her son's birthday tomorrow. He'll be
No,
10.
not tomorrow.
Happy birthday, DJ.
No, not tomorrow. She got the days mixed
I
up.
mean,
17.
I'm like, okay, forgive me, y'all. Well, happy birthday, DJ. But anyway, so remember the story you said it was a woman chasing a guy down the street. And your son, who's going to be 10, said, Mom, did you record? He wanted to find out
Lord.
recording.
My little 10-year-old.
Lord.
It was a
He said
woman.
recorded.
Hey, public aggression. Couple got mad. I don't know if she called him or whatever, but she got out of her car and she chased him down the street. Chased him down the street. Of course, the cops came and blocked everything off, covered everything up. And my little one, I was taking him to summer school, and he saw everything, and he was like, "Make sure you record it. Make sure you record it." So of course, we had a nice little talk.
Really,
make sure you record it.
No, Coach Shalonda, tell the truth, because you probably was like, yeah, I should have recorded it.
No.
Tell the truth, Coach Shalonda. Tell the truth.
Let me tell y'all something. This woman had it, honey. I don't know what she had in her hand, but she had it. It took several cops to restrain her. She had him.
Yeah.
And usually, it's always the man, but I don't know. He was in fear. He was running, and she was running. You've never seen a woman running after a man, more so a man running after a woman, but he was running away from her. I think she had something in her hand too, but he was running from her, and they were stopping. They were running in the street, stopping traffic, and praise the Lord, it wasn't. But they were running, and she was running after him. She did not care. It looked like she had one shoe on, one shoe off, and she was like in the street. So the cops were trying to run after her because she was gonna kill him. But they did handle it, because when I dropped him off and tried to go over there and be a good citizen and stop the situation, it was over. The cops had put him in the car, and and of course they out there taking notes.
Sometimes depending on how bad the situation is, because I'm the type that I would want to help out. Now, I don't want to tell us full story, because I don't want y'all thinking I'm really crazy. But, this had happened years ago where my ex and we got into a big fight. Like it started out in a bowling alley, and it just got real crazy. And people did try to get involved. And his temper was like really bad. So when people try to get involved, like he made a big scene and people didn't want to be involved. It got real crazy. So we went outside to his he had an SUV at the time, went outside to his SUV. We were fighting, like literally fighting. So we got in his SUV, y'all. He's getting ready to pull off, and everybody like trying to help me. And it was a mess. We caused a big scene. Like I remember kicking him, and then I jumped out the car, went rolling on the street. It was just
like
yeah, and it's probably like in a movie, because you see me rolling because I jumped out the car. He jumps out the car, and it's just and I don't even know how it got out of hand, but I had to tell people just stay out of it, because it was escalating even more. People got involved. But now I don't do any of that. And people, of course, if they see a fight that bad, then of course you want to kind of be a part, and I mean not be a part, but you kind of want to help that person. But when you're upset with your spouse, your friend, whoever you're arguing with, sometimes it get out of hand, emotions get high, you just forget everything, and you just start acting crazy. Now, me, I don't like public embarrassment at all. Mm-hmm. So if I'm involved with somebody and I see they start getting crazy, I'm just gonna walk away. I'm like, look, I'm just gonna walk away. So
Yeah, that's me too. I don't like public embarrassment. I don't like to do that in public.
Mm-mm.
It's an
Mm-mm.
outfit right around the corner.
But listen, so Coach Shalom, she gonna get mad at me for telling this, but we are the hard-minded voice and we're very transparent. But Coach Shalom is a sweetheart. But let me tell y'all, she will shut somebody down, y'all. If y'all are, so say we're arguing or something like that in public, she gets really loud. That country person, y'all,
That is only on the phone, y'all.
it's real loud. I'm like, look, I ain't saying nothing else.
She witnessed me have one little argument on the phone. One little argument on the phone with someone, y'all. You know, we can have arguments on the phone.
Well, look,
Let me tell you, Coach Shalom, y'all, she's a sweetheart, but she know how to shut it down.
There was one little argument, and you know, you can have your arguments on the phone or whatever. Wait, was I out in public? I think I was at the store. I was in the parking lot.
Look, I'm not gonna tell you stories. I just want to say that I'm not gonna tell your personal stories.
I think I was at the store in the parking lot, y'all, and I had to, you know, set the record straight with someone. It was dealing with work, I think. Yeah, I think it was dealing with work, and they were a con artist and just was not right. Did not stand up to their word or hold their word, and you know, word is bond and it's everything to me. And when you break, you know, loyalty, you're dishonest with me, you know, that just messes up the entire deal. So sometimes people need to be corrected.
No. I was afraid. Wait. She had me with her. I was afraid to speak. She was like, you know, she called my name. I was like, I didn't know what she was saying. Like, I'm like, you know what? Let me let her calm down first before I say anything. Then she get mad at me, like, why you not saying?
she's like, what you want me to say?
But that's what happens when you're in public. Like the aggression, you know, you get upset. Like Justin Bieber and his, you know, this happened a few weeks ago with Justin Bieber and his girlfriend, where they got into a big discrepancy in public, and they had it all over the news and TMZ and all of that. So, but he did apologize.
Yeah, because he was saying that he was hyped from the show, and people were saying no, it looked like he was fussing at her. I don't know, but with me, I'm kind of like that. I don't like to be talked too loud. I don't like that, and especially in public. I don't like arguing in public because I don't feel like the public should know our business, what's going on with us. So I'm kind of like what Queen, they say, okay, you start talking loud and talking crazy, I'm gonna walk off. I'm leaving. I'm gonna leave you right there, standing stupid, talking to yourself. And I got a story. I have a couple. One is a not so funny story, and one is kind of funny. So anyway, when me and my daughter's daddy was together, I decided I didn't go do much. You know, I was with him. He was kind of controlling, so I didn't do a lot. So one of my friends asked, hey, you want to go out to the club with us? I'm like, yeah, I'll go. Let me let him know. So I let him know, going to the club, you know, he was against it, all that. So me and my friends, we sitting in the club, and one of my really good friends from high school, Brandy, she was with me. And so he come in the club, okay, and he see me in her, you know, he see fun. You know, they don't like fun. Oh, she's having fun. He sees fun. So he come over there and he point his finger like, you know, how people beg at you like, come here. And I'm like, no, because again, I don't like public display of aggression. So I'm sitting there like, no. And so he went to grab at me. I don't know who kicked first, me or Brandon. I don't know. We laid back, he kicked, I kicked, I'm hitting. He pulled away, he looked, and he saw that she wasn't letting me out and I wasn't getting up. So he was just like, okay. He walked on, whatever. But I'm like, I was so embarrassed. I'm like, don't do that. Don't come in here like you coming to get me, you know, like you my dad or something.
And they do that to embarrass. They want you to like feel embarrassed and like, you know, like so to me, it's a sense of control.
Yeah. And you know what? And then like when you're arguing in public and stuff like that, sometimes the people around you kind of hype you up to act a little bit more crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention the social media stuff too. Y'all know people starting to do it on social media. You got couples arguing back and forth on social media. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's definitely like not a place to be, airing your dirty laundry, especially married couples.
Right.
But I did want to mention earlier, Coach Shalonda talked about how, seeing somebody getting attacked and do you jump in, do you help or whatever? Because when my daughter's father attacked me, I remember there were two young boys walking, they looked like teenagers. I could barely see them, but I could kind of see them a little bit. But anyway, they were walking by and they saw him attacking me and they were just like, oh, damn. You know what I mean? But these are two males. Like I felt like me being the victim, of course, me being the victim, I felt like, okay, y'all could have done something. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
had
not until you're in those shoes to when,
and
like you
yeah,
just said,
because before
you
that,
can
I used
see.
to say, yeah,
Yeah,
y'all don't get in there, you don't know. But I can understand that too. But being a victim, you kind of look at it a little bit different, especially when you're reaching. Like my hand, I'm reaching out for help
for
to
help.
these guys. I'm reaching out, and they just looking like, damn. And I heard one of them say, "Nah, man, let's go." And they just kind of walked away. I'm like, even if you can't physically help me, can you call the police? Can you go get somebody else?
Yeah,
Can you do something?
yeah,
So
That's what
I
blacks. I don't know why blacks in the black community we have a habit of minding our own business.
yeah.
And we supposed to be a community to help one another out. And Kim, when you said that story, it reminded me of, and I had to get counseling around this because it was tough to deal with. But my mom, she was almost beaten to death. She was in a coma for months, and it was in the public. And I remember people running to the house and where I lived at the time and knocking on the door to say like my mother needed help and no, but we didn't know where she was at that point. Like, well, why you didn't get the why you
Yeah.
didn't like get information, call the cops or whatever. But the guy beat her to the point where he broke her ribs, he stomped her, he took a pole, a metal pole, and beat her where she was just left for dead. And
wow.
thank God, I don't know how she made it to the house, but she went with, like when we saw her, she was just complete, like she was bloody, like she didn't even look like herself. And she literally
Right.
crawled to the house and knocked on the door. And we heard like a little knock. And the minute knocked on the door, like she just like opened the door and she just passed out. And she didn't wake up for months. But people
Wow.
like people saw it and they feel like they wanted to mind their business because they got into an argument and whatever happened. I don't know what transpired, but he beat her like to a pulp where she was literally in a coma. Like her head was swollen, like her lungs, he punctured her lungs. She had to get her lungs removed. One of her lungs, she
Wow.
had a half of it removed. He broke her ribs in her lungs. Like she had to get major surgery and constructive surgery to kind of put some things back. But just hearing that and how people don't really help out. I mean, sometimes you don't want to get in people, especially relationship. You
Yeah.
don't get involved, but when you see it's that bad and you see somebody like being beat to the
About to
point
die.
where you're right, like you said,
Yeah.
like what
Yeah.
you were calling and reaching out, and they didn't
Yeah.
even like help. Like call the cops, do something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Couldn't even do it. If I see
Yeah.
that, I would jump in. I'd probably get hurt too, but I couldn't even see it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. I remember my dad used to always give me little pointers and how to fight people, how when you feel like you know, um, they'll get the best of you, things to do that I hold near and dear to my heart to this day. When you feel like someone can get the best, my dad has been in the military, and so he knows a lot of military moves that, they do to survive. Hello, they're, soldiers. And
Right.
so he would share some of those things with me, and he would tell me what to do when, when you know that a person can get the best of you and you're trying to survive. And even when, when you're like those boys were walking in, and I will say, of course, I know, with females it's different for us because like you said, Queen A, you can get hurt too. However,
Mhm.
when you're out, yeah, more than likely you're going to have your phone, call 911, and scream, yell, whatever you see. When you're outdoors, there are things outdoors that can protect you. Pick up whatever you see. You have things on your body that are weapons, your teeth, your nails are weapon. Use whatever, to help yourself or to even help an individual, but definitely try to reach out. I can't even imagine, seeing someone about to lose their life and not do anything. Forget about what if that was your child or what if that was your
Yeah.
parent, your mom. There's no way you're gonna stand there like, oh my God, you're right. You will risk getting hurt as well. But the first thing we're gonna do is just human instinct. We're gonna see whatever we can grab and try to get that person off. We don't want to kill them, but we're trying to survive just like anybody else. We're trying to survive, so whatever it takes. And so that's my thing. With this subject, like, don't just stand there and see someone lose their life, but try to help in some. If you don't want to jump in the fight, call 911. You see if you're so scared, grab a brick and knock them upside the head and be like Jojo. If you see a stick, get a tree branch, anything, grab something, knock the hell out of them and run like if you feel like, I can't fight, but I got a good lick in there, whatever the case may be. But definitely try to help out our sisters and brothers as we see them, and a lot of, especially with couples, this is true too when couples are at it or whatever. And if you try to jump in and try to help one of them, the other one get mad. The one you get mad at you, like, I'm trying to help you out. So it can be a little tricky, but in your case, serious case, you about to lose and you're reaching out like help.
I have blood running down my face. It's evident.
I know about the situation. Yeah.
In
your situation, those boys should have done something. Boys too, whoever should have done something. So that's with any guys. You see someone, you better help them. And I know with my little one, Lord, he tries to save the world and try to help whomever. And he's a little something. So, I really have to try to talk to him because every homeless person he see on the street, he want to feed. And don't let him see someone getting hurt. One of his goals is to be on Darman. Y'all know Darman, right? He wants to be in one of Darman's videos.
Okay.
He's all about helping the community. So I can only imagine, with him being out there and he see a fight break out or something. So, just be careful in the process of trying to help others, be careful. So let's get off that subject and let's talk about some romance and some loving and some good loving and some bad loving. Some unfinished business and some desperate for love and some friends with
everybody's topic here.
That friends with benefits, that's about the worst topic. I'd say that's not my favorite topic. But let's talk about, those breakups that are just not finished, and I know we've all had them when we've, had a breakup, but we feel like we haven't had any closure. We've had those relationships where we just about do anything because we wanted to keep that connection with that individual. So we will lower our standards. I mean, you name it, it happened. The friends with benefits. Now that friends with benefits, now all my life, I have not been saved all my life. But I have not ever been friends with benefits. I feel like that particular part, the benefits, is way too deep and emotional for me to where it can cause, bodily harm. So, so I just cannot be friends with benefits because somebody would truly get hurt if I saw, an individual. And I don't know if I think I was watching something, or I don't know if I was having a conversation with someone or watching something, and the person was like, "Oh yeah, I remember now." But yeah. So I think that when women accept, and we're talking about the women, girls in particular, females in particular, because men seem to have this, on lockdown. They seem to be experts and friends with benefits. Unfinished business. Most of the time, I'm not going to say all, but most of the time, the men do not need closure. They go on, and the next person is their closure. And the women are left needing closure. Most of the time, it's the women that are desperate for love because the men will just throw a little money out there and they can get them some loving. So, ladies, tell me what you think. Come on, break it down to me, Queen A. Queen A, especially. Queen A.
You know what? I'm not listening. Y'all gonna think I lived a whole life or whatever. So I ain't even gonna tell y'all the story. But my life is just full of stories. But look, I have evolved and learned. So thank God for that. But I don't want to put it all on the men. It's definitely some women who act as a man would act. So I can't put it all on the men. So what I would say is, first of all, if you hadn't dealt with the emotions of the feeling that you had with unfinished business, is because you're still holding on to something. You hold on to resentment, anger, or unforgiveness, something that you had not dealt with in some time. So it's very important that you deal with, especially women, right? So I have friends with benefits. I experienced it, right? So but in my instance, I was okay, so I have to be honest here. At the time that I was doing it, it was years ago, but the time that I was doing it, I thought it was okay. We started off as friends. We met at work. We started off as friends. We got involved and wanted to have it as, just mutually friends with benefits. But guess what, y'all? It ended in like a 9, 10 year, matter of fact, over 10 year cycle.
Mhm.
And by the way, you all want to get on Patreon. We're going to be doing that very, very soon, because we're going to dive more into the business of astrology and all of that when it comes to stuff like this in the cycle. So when you have unfinished business, typically it's a cycle. We have 9 years cycles in our lives that keep repeating every 9 years. So what happened with that was, I was involved with this guy over 10 years, and we kept coming back because we had unfinished business, because we were friends with benefits, but was not being honest about our feelings. We were not being honest and dealing with the emotions behind the feelings. So we started to create resentment towards one another because we were trying to keep it friends with benefits. And then yet, if one of us would go and speak, be with someone else or speak with someone else, we try to respect that boundary. But it's like, once you have sex, there's no boundaries. And
My
yet,
point exactly. Go ahead.
and it's like, yet we try to hold boundaries. How the hell are you gonna have boundaries and still have
Mhm.
sex with?
My point exactly.
Because and that's it's like, you have to communicate with somebody and explain what this, like, what relationship are we in, especially
Yeah.
women, because we get emotionally tied. And Kim mentioned this the other day, soul ties. And we develop a soul tie is developed when you're having sex with somebody, and then all of a sudden it's these feelings that you're getting, like resentment, unforgiveness, you're mad, you're angry, because it's not moving, it's not growing, it's not moving. So
Mhm.
what happened with me was, at the time when I was friends with benefits, it was very unhealthy for me, because what happened was, I was lying to myself about how I felt. I was lying to myself to tell this guy, look, I'm really in love with you. I really want a relationship with you. And he was lying to himself about it, because we try to keep, the boundaries.
Yeah.
So I was holding on to these bitter feelings, because I was so upset, because I'm like, if I tell him the truth, and if I say I want more, then I'm gonna go outside of our boundaries. Then,
Mhm.
then it could be where we lose the friendship, I lose the sex, or whatever. So what I did to cover it was, I started to get involved with other people, which is unhealthy. And I only did that as a way to cover up my feelings. So it was unfinished business, because I was lying to myself. He was lying to himself. We were not dealing with the honest truth feelings of how we really felt. So
Right.
even when we broke up, we still kept coming back together, because it was unfinished business. And
Yeah.
even when you like, you probably didn't have a relationship with somebody, but even when you have feelings for somebody, but it did not evolve, and you still keep going back in your mind, circling back, because you never is like, and you cannot seem to get this person off your mind, or you can't seem to like move on from this person, because you have unfinished business,
Yeah.
because you didn't deal with the true nature of your emotions and be honest with yourself. You may not, it may be hard to be honest with the person, but you first got to get real with yourself. And that's what we typically don't do. We don't get real with ourselves and real with the other person that we are in connection with. And like, look, that's the only way. It doesn't mean that you have to
Mhm.
grow the relationship or get involved, or whatever, or get married, whatever. But it means that you have to be true and authentic to yourself and your feelings. And when you do that and be true with the person you're in connection with, you can see, like, you will have closure. Do you know how to move forward from there, whether you come back together or whether you go your separate ways, but you have closure. And that's what I had to learn when this guy is like, we had to have closure. And we did talk it through. And then I had to sever the tie, so we won't, because we're gonna keep going back sexually. But once we talked it through, we had that closure, and we were able to move forward. And it was it. Like, we never went back to one another again. So
Do you think
Yeah.
that he needed that closure, or you knew you needed it, whether he needed
um,
it?
I think we both did. Because I, I get mad, like I start blocking people, right, y'all. So I think it's just a women, when women do that. I don't know, but anyway, I cut him off for a year. I remember cutting him off for a year, and he contacted me through social media. So I thought I was okay, and I thought we were good, like we ended it. But in my mind, like he was constantly on my mind. That's because it was unfinished. Even though I had blocked him out or whatever, it was unfinished because he reached out to me through social media, and we started talking again. And we got involved. Yes, we did get involved. But it was like something happened, which was the final straw, and I knew we only came together to bring closure, and we did. And it was hurtful. I think more so for him. It was hurtful for me, yes, but I think more so for him, because he wasn't ready to necessarily fully close it, but he knew that we weren't gonna get married or be in a full blown relationship. So we went our separate ways, and we never came back after that. So
Wow, that's crazy. Serious K, what are your thoughts? What are your sexcapades? Wait, sexcapades.
Oh, girl. Ooh. But anyway,
Serious K?
going forward. No, but back when I was way younger, of course, before marriage, of course.
We're talking 20s, y'all.
I tried that. I had a conversation and I tried that with the guy, and it did not work out because, like Queen A says, your emotions get involved and it just doesn't work out. And then I also thought about, I know my worth,
Right.
I
Yeah.
know I want to be number one. I
yes,
want to be the queen. I feel like I'm a queen. I'm number one. So I don't want, and I know some women, they settle for it. Like they're in these relationships for
Yeah.
years with these guys. And that's because they feel like, hey, this is the best I'm gonna get. And it ain't gonna get no better. So, hey, or I'm getting older, and they just settle, for whatever. So, but it's always been hard for me to be that type of person to just settle for whatever because I always want more. I'm kind
Yes.
of selfish when it comes to whoever I'm with. I'm real selfish. So I'm like, you know what? I had to step back. I'm like, I can't do this. And
right.
let me tell y'all something. And speaking of that, being desperate for love, some people aren't looking for love. They're
Mhm.
looking for help. I just wanted to tell y'all this funny, funny story.
Mhm.
Back when I was out on the dating scene, I remember this guy. He asked me for my number. I gave him my number, whatever, and he called. And y'all know the first thing he asked, he was like, "You know what? Let's just cut to the chase. I'm looking for somebody that can put something with something. I'm trying to
Wow.
look for somebody that can put two and two together. How much money do you make a year?"
Wow.
So it was like click, like really. So everybody's not looking for love. Some people out here looking for help. So you
Yeah.
have to be careful with that too, in settling and choosing your partner. You have to think about what are their motives. You have to ask questions. You have to have a conversation. You can't just jump into stuff and then you expect something else. So you have to sit down and you have to have those heart-to-heart talks and ask those hard questions. Ask anything because you can ask my husband. I asked him, "Have you ever been to jail?" All kinds of stuff. I asked him all kinds of stuff and he answered every question. So don't be afraid to ask those hard questions because in the end, it's going to be your fault because you should have asked these questions before
Yeah.
you got involved with this person. Do you want to be married? Do you want to be in a relationship? What are we doing here? What do you want from me? What are your goals? What are your relationship goals, your future goals for yourself, for your life? Ask all those questions. So that's my take on it. Oh, and I want to remind our viewers to like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram channel pages.
Please do.
Thank you. Hi, Rena. Settle. She said, Rena says settling is not good. That
Not
is
at
so
all.
true. And Coach,
Not
I want to say this really quick. It's this book by Helen Fisher, and it's called Why Do We Love? And she speak about in the book, she talk about psychological chemistry. Because you have physical chemistry where you just like the sex is amazing, you come together, is good, and you just can't seem to leave that person alone sexually, because you have great chemistry there. But then there's another part, which is the psychological chemistry, and this is where you have unfinished business, because sometimes when it's psychological, you keep coming back to a person because they feeding like trauma. They feeding like your trauma that you experienced in life. They feeding that childhood wound that you had in life. So the book is very good because she talk about being like having chemistry psychologically, just so you know, because it's like you looking for healing, you looking for love, so you keep returning back and having unfinished business because it's something in your past or in your childhood that was unfinished. And that's why, like, for me, I kind of stopped getting involved like sexually and all of that, and just looking for the right person, because it's like the friends with benefits, it just don't work. And all it does, like, people who keep doing, like, I'm not saying like, look, everybody know who watching the show, y'all. I love sex. Like, look, it's like if I could get it every time, I mean, I could, but I chose not to. But look, y'all, it be on every single day.
Hey.
But I realized when I was out there like that and I was giving myself away, I was feeding something psychologically. I was feeding is like an absence of parents, having an absence of parents. So when I engaged in that way, it felt like a sense of like somebody wanted me. Like, I didn't feel rejected. I felt love. So it was more psychological. It was the physical feeling too, though. But so we got to look at why we do what we do, and the chemistry, and why it is unfinished business. So again, unfinished because it's something in your past, like your childhood, or is it, or it could be something that you are dealing with in that person. Like, again, you keep returning to that same person because you were not honest, and you still did not deal with what was the issue, or why you both, with your separate ways, and why you keep coming back. Listen, it's going to be a cycle. If you don't deal with it, you're going to keep repeating cycle after cycle after cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a heavy topic. Definitely needs more time, and I would say this would definitely be one of the topics that we will discuss in Patreon, and we'll talk about soul ties, because a lot of people don't believe in it and don't understand it. That's why they don't believe in it, because they don't understand it. They don't really know what it means when a person says soul ties, and that's the problem, especially in our community. And I think about this topic makes me think about the commentators. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The guy that always, those self-esteem women that call into his show, or whatever, get on his show, and he put them on, and he have those little funny looking glasses and that little bean pie head, and, and he dogged the women out so bad, because so many of them, to call him, first of all, is low self-esteem. It's like women with self-esteem. I've always heard women that are sure of themselves, that are very confident within themselves, have always said, he can reach out to me anytime. No, I will not go to him, but he's more than welcome to reach out to me anytime.
I know that's right.
That's a woman that is full of her, that is confident, and know who she is, as a lady. And, I'm sure we all feel the same way. More than welcome to come on Harmonic Voice anytime, anytime. But no, we would never, ever, run to you, nor be on nothing that that you have. But I think about those ladies, because a lot of them do have low self-esteem, and you said self-esteem, and Serious K, you said something. I think I lost it. And Queen A, both you guys said something. I wanted to make a point on it. I think Serious K, you said I don't know if it was you or Queen A, about the length of time people are together. They be together for years. One of y'all said that. Be together for years. Yeah. And then I thought about those 10-year engagements. Like, what do you guys think about that, when a couple are engaged literally for even 5 years? Forget the 10 years. What about 5 years? 5 years more realistic. 10 years, yeah, there's some people, but not a lot. But 5 years, they feel like it's okay. 7 years, I've heard that a lot. They feel like that's okay. A 5-year engagement, to be engaged with one person, I can understand a year engagement. I can almost get there. I mean, I'm barely, but I can't get there with you at 2. That's it. That's the cutoff. So, how do you guys feel about that? Go ahead, Queen Anne.
I was in a restaurant the other day. I tell you, I talk to everybody.
Yes, she does.
And it was these two white guys at the bar. So they would talk. This guy was telling his story, and I happened to listen to it. Started asking questions. I got to stop, y'all. People gonna be like, "This girl is ridiculous." But he would talk. He just got engaged. So I was like, "Oh, congratulations!" And everything. And so we got into this deep conversation. I don't know how get into deep conversation with strangers, but I just always do. But we got into this deep conversation, and with two white guys. So we talked about the difference with blacks and white. So I said, that's good that you knew, like, she was the one, like, and you proposed to her even before the year is up. And he was like, it don't take long at all to know when you want someone. And he said, what's the point in wasting time? So I said to him, in the black community, I said, the black men, I don't know what the hell is going on, but we got to pray for our black men, y'all. Not just with just the black community, period. But it's like sometimes they want to take their time. Now, I don't know how long Series K, your husband, like how long was it that he proposed? It wasn't.
Girl, it was
time.
maybe about after 8 months, I believe, something like that.
And
yeah.
So it's like
They
he was
know.
mature, right? He knew they were mature. So I feel like a person know, but the guy was saying, like, he was talking about his upbringing. So I think a lot of it had to do with our upbringing and how we may look at marriage or view relationships, because it's really a beautiful thing. The thing is, we don't want to work on it, but it don't take long at all to know that, and then it's the black Americans, because even I tell you, I get into conversation with everybody, y'all. So I have met two African men, and they were talking about how, like he said, this one guy, we got to like a heated discussion though, because he was like, well, what's the point? Like, why would you wait? He said, you meet somebody. He said, you can meet somebody, you can have sex with them the next week, and then you get married the following week. What's the point in waiting? So I'm like, what do you mean? So I was getting mad though. I'm the type that kind of moves slow a little bit. But he was like, what's the point in waiting? He said, you can be talking to someone for 2 years and he's not the one at all. And then he was like, that person could be the wrong person, but then you move quickly. He said, the thing is, he talked about Americans. He said, the thing is, y'all don't know how to work it out. So Africans, he said, they have a strong tie to family. They believe in family units. So he said, look, if we get married right away, we're going to work it out. And he said, it's a community thing. It's not just them two trying to work out their marriage. He said, marriage is for the community. I thought that was deep that he said that. So he said, you have the community that comes in to kind of help you to build the relationship, because you can't do it by yourself. So he said, go to their parents. He said, when he have an issue with her, when she have an issue with him, they go to each other parents to help resolve it. So they have a very strong family unit. And that's what I think Americans, especially Black Americans, that we need to learn, is how to have that family unit. And then it depends on how you grew up. Like for me, I didn't see that. I didn't grow up like seeing like my parents together, seeing a healthy marriage. So for me, it kind of takes time because I have to build that trust. But look, when I get married, y'all, it's a wrap. We get married quick. Look, it ain't gonna be long at all.
And that's no, but that's the way it should be. I mean, I know our age play a part in it as well. But even when you're if you're young, we do say enjoy life, get all out of life as much as you can, because it's a different life. And I believe one of the bishop said that marriage is for the grown folks, it's for the mature folks, and for the grown folks. You have to be grown, to get married, to deal with marriage. And a lot of people don't.
And not grown in age, grown in mind.
Grown in mind. Exactly. Grown in mind, because, it takes a lot of responsibility. It takes a lot of accountability. Karina says sometimes that's not a good thing, because then you're opening up for the parents to be in the business. Tell me about that, Karina.
That is true.
Yes, Lord. But that definitely can, lead to somewhere else, lead to, a lot. But, we hear, I don't hear a lot of teaching and preaching on marriage back in the day, as it was back in the day. But, I don't hear a lot of, but, there are some that is strict when it comes to marriage and really teach what marriage is all about. And so the real reason and the real teaching behind what marriage really stands for, especially nowadays, people are just not up for that, because it's like when it's hard, I'm out. I ain't gonna take this,
Yeah.
it's, so, and that's the unfortunate reality when it comes to, a lot of people, and definitely if we want to stay within our community, especially within our community. But there's
It's the upbringing. Again, that's the upbringing. Not always, but a lot of times how you sort of way your parents engage, or maybe having something or not having something. Like, like for me, like my mom, she's never been married, and she's still single to this day. And it's like Karina, she's my cousin, but her and that's in the chat. Her mom and her dad, they've been married for so long, they a long time. And even her marriage, she's got, I think it was 18. I think she got married 21, but she's been married for years. So it goes to show like our upbringing. So she's family and marriage, and like for me, I cherish it, but it's like I had to work at it. I had to work on myself because of like just the upbringing, what I saw, and and what I was used to. And and then especially when it's like when you have parents that walk out on you, like that's what I've done in my relationships. Like I couldn't take the pain, so it was easy for me to just walk out because that's what I saw and that's what I was used to. So so that's why you got to go through the work. Do the healing?
You have to. Because a lot of times two broken people get together. However, they can work, but they got to do the work on themselves. Right. If they're going to remain married, they have to do the work on themselves, get themselves in order, and get back, in alignment with what marriage is all about. Because it's not peaches and cream. There will be some days you wake up and not like, can't stand the individual, be it the wife or the husband. That's just the truth, And I feel like in our community, there need to be more conversations about the reality of marriage. Those that have been married, that's been in it, that's been through the toughness, the thick and thin, and give examples and give, praises as well, give the ups and the downs and what it's all about. Because, there needs to be, a community that is for marriage and that, that fights marriage, that fights for marriage and give the real meaning, because it's really not for you and for that individual. There is purpose behind it. It just ain't for you and for him, or for her and for him, but it is for people that God has assigned to, whatever it is that you're supposed to do, within your marriage, because God has a purpose attached to that marriage, and every marriage that exists, because it comes from God. So be it good or bad, you got to find, your right in it. You got to find why and your right in it. Why am I in it? And which way am I to go, in this marriage? Different worlds, two different people that are coming together, And
being authentic. That's the main thing I realized in relationships. Like we're not authentic, like truly authentic with one another. Like, especially like I can't speak for a man, not a man, but sometimes just dealing with a man, like they were not authentic in how they feel. Like, it's in, like they say vulnerability, and I had to learn this too. Like vulnerability. Oh, I cannot wait till we do our Patreon. Because this we get to astrology. Like if your 8th house speaks a lot about some things you got to deal with. So we're gonna get to that another day. But when it comes, I forgot my point, y'all. But anyway, I talked to something with the 8th house is very important. But it deals with your past. It deals with some things that's holding you back in astrology, 8th house. So it's good to always know that. But what I was gonna say, being authentic in a relationship, being authentic about how you feel. Like vulnerability is power, and we don't recognize that. And it's like, even if you're hurting, you still got to be vulnerable and tell a person, like, even again, some people may feel like they don't trust or whatever, so they can't have that vulnerability. But this is who you married. So if you married that person, why can't you have that trust with that person? Why can't you be vulnerable with that person? Why can't you be authentic and honest and be able to communicate? So I think that's just crazy that people get married and they don't have that authenticity in the marriage. They can't communicate and express how they feel. Like, I mean, it's I don't know.
Yeah, because people are, I might get shut down for this, but marriage is not hard. People are always talking about how hard it is. It's not hard.
It's hard, Kim.
If you use that, just like what Queen A just said, if you be honest, you communicate and be vulnerable to your spouse, it can be so easy. We make it hard because we're scared to say something, or we wait till months later, and then it blows up. That's what makes it hard, because then in between
It
that, the
sounds
blow
hard,
up,
but
you
yeah,
got
because
little
it needs
bitty
work.
problems, because those problems really are based on the bigger problem. It's really not the fact that you didn't put the
Yeah.
dishes in the dishwasher. I'm still mad at you about something big, but I ain't said it. So sometimes
Right.
we make it hard. We have to just, as soon as the problem hit, bam, right there, let's talk about it. As soon as you see something that bothers you, bam, let's talk about it.
Right.
Just continue to talk and communicate and share, be transparent with your spouse. I promise you, your marriage will work. It's not
Yes.
that hard. It's really not.
It's
And
work. Marriage takes work, and people they mistake work for hard. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard. And because marriage take someone being selfless, not selfish, not it's all about me. What I always say is all about me, but it's not all about you. But it,
Mhm.
for the wife, it should be all about, how am I making sure I take care of him, and for him, making sure I take care of her. But it's the work that you need to put into it where people misconstrue hard. I mean, the work for being it's so hard. It takes work. It's not, it takes work at it. You got to work on, and then there are seasons in marriage. And every season is not peaches and cream. There are seasons in marriage. And there are seasons where you will be tested and tried. That's for you to grow in your marriage. And those tests sometimes they hurt a little bit because you don't want to stretch, and it's just God that's trying to stretch you. So it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of growth, and that's where they get, oh, it's so hard, it's so hard. It's all about maturing, and maturing can come across as, oh, it's so hard, I don't want to grow up. Go ahead, Queen A.
So when you said that, it was Iyanla,
Mhm.
on one of her shows. She said something. She talked about it was a woman, like she had to sit there and listen to her family like get on her about stuff. And she
Mhm.
was like, and the lady wanted to just quickly walk out, right? Because that's what we used to doing, like
Yeah.
just wanted to leave. So she said, no, you better sit here. She said, no matter how much it hurts, you better sit here and deal with what they're saying about you. Because this is how the truth is going to come out. So in relationships, I realized, like, the communication can become very harsh. And you could just say, you just start saying stuff because you're so mad at the person, but you never dealt with. So you just want to quickly run out because it hurts to sit up there and to deal with it.
And hear the
You
truth.
don't want to, because you know why? Because we don't want to face ourselves. That's why.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing. The hardest thing, I believe, for people individually, especially in a relationship, but as an individual, is to deal with themselves.
Yeah.
And I remember, I remember Coach Shalana said this to me all the time. Like, I had this is funny, but so I'm not gonna tell you all my ways, but like one of the things that I was like a perfectionist. It was so bad, y'all. And Coach Shalana would be like, okay, you're gonna have to deal with that. So I started meeting people who was perfectionists, and it drove me insane. Like I was ready to fight. Like, oh, so. But what I recognized was that was me. So it's like when we come into connection with somebody, especially in a marriage, they have stuff. We have, like, we are a replica of one another.
Yeah, you marry each other.
Right. So it's like we come together with a person because it's something in us that we come together in a relationship for a purpose. But one of the purpose is to bring healing, because you see yourself, you marry that person, you see yourself in that person, and God is dealing with you to work on that.
Yeah.
So when I'm not just like a personal, intimate marriage relationship, but it could be a friendship, it could be anything. And so, you'll come into connection with somebody that is a replica of something you got to see and work within yourself. So when somebody say, like, okay, if say I call out to a person like, oh, you are this or you're that, it's because that's in me, because I'm seeing it in you.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we can call it out, it's because it's something in us. Because if we don't see it, it's because that's not us. That's not who we are. So we can't call it out. So, we do got to look at, people and situations and begin to deal with it, because it's something in us that needs to do the work and the healing.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't want to be comfortable. We want to be like, I want to do what I want to do and not be accountable and not have somebody hold you accountable. That's one of the things I got to work on as a flaw, y'all. I get mad. Don't hold me accountable. Like, what you asking me for? Like, look, when I told Coach Lon to help me get up early in the morning, I get mad at curse her out. Like, why are you bothering me?
That's true. That's true. And I'm big. I'm huge, I guess, because I'm coach. And that's what coaches are about. Big on accountability. Like I will call you on you. I will call you on what you said. And it's amazing because it's amazing you can lose friends that way. And all you're doing is telling the truth. This is what you said. Or this is what has transpired between you
It's
and
the
I.
way you do it, though. It's the way you do it. Let me tell you,
But you know what? It may take some time because I have received the truth. That's the one thing we hate is receiving the truth about us. When someone tell us about ourselves, it may take a minute or two. Because we definitely gonna fight back or say something or withdraw or whatever. But that withdrawal, give yourself time to reflect on, because it's nothing like when the Bible says free, when you accept the truth and when you apply whatever it was that individual was saying, it was hurtful. You don't want to hear that. They weren't saying anything to hurt you, but what they said was hurtful.
Karina said, I agree. I want to know what she agreed on.
By being, if you were lazy, if you procrastinate, or whatever the case may be. Procrastination, hello. If someone is calling you out on your procrastination, you're going to get mad at them and say they offended you. Procrastination became a good thing for us. Lazy, or you're too you have a bad attitude, or whatever the situation may be. So that communication is vital, and it is golden when you're communicating the right things and the proper things that is necessary, the necessary things that we need to apply in our relationship and our individual lives. So going all the way back to our topic, because I don't know how we get on marriage. We were talking about unfinished business.
That's a part of it. That's a part of it.
It really is.
Can't move on.
But look, because on the bottom, like with that, the bottom line of unfinished business is you always got to be authentic with yourself, about your feelings. Because if you're not authentic, you're going to keep returning to that same situation. It may so even if you just decide to end it with that person, it's still unfinished because you hadn't worked it out. So you get to that next relationship and it's the same thing but a different person. So because you have unresolved, unfinished business in yourself with that other person. So sometimes you try to get rid of it, try to walk away from it, but you can't, you're having a hard time, why I keep going back? But it's you'll try to, and you'll try to enter in another relationship. And guess what? The same thing is going to happen over again because you hadn't dealt with some situation. So.
You hadn't completed, the last situation. So let's be mindful of those situationships.
I want to know what Karina was talking about when she laughed. She said, I agree, LOL. It must be about me getting up in the morning. It's we were younger, right? We were younger. And I said I was gonna get up in the morning. I'm getting better with being a morning person, y'all. But I was getting up in the morning
now, y'all. Excellent. Excellent. From where she come from, excellent.
Look, I have no problem calling out my flaws. I'm very self-aware.
She said, marriage is work. It's not hard. She was agreeing with what I said. Yeah. Okay. Marriage is work.
Okay, how I am in the morning. I remember we were younger. She poured her and my cousin. I said I was gonna get up in the morning. And she said, yeah, in that morning part. And I was gonna, we were gonna get up in the morning. I promised that I would get up, and I was laying in the bed. They took a whole bucket of ice water and poured.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I was not.
Lord, I would have woke up swinging because I'm not a morning person either.
Yeah,
I would have play with my sleep.
Well, I'm definitely a morning person. I wake up ready.
This girl, let me tell you, Coach Shalonda, when I had to get up for work, and she used to call me. This is I'm totally different now.
Yeah, totally.
She used to get up and girl, 7 o'clock. Well, I'm trying to get dressed. She like, hey girl. I'm like, oh,
I am ready, honey.
Talking. And I'd be like, okay, let my brain catch up first.
Yeah, then she'll go, girl, you sleep.
You're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've been like this all my life. I remember my dad used to say I would wake up with a smile on my face. He was like, who wakes up smiling? So and I still wake up full of energy, whatever, unless, I'm just having a hard week, one of those 50-year-olds and pressing weeks. Yeah.
Look,
Then my
y'all,
wake up changes.
Coach
Well,
Mama, you are a morning person, though. You really are. Kim, you say you're not, right?
No, no, I have to have peace and quiet. It has to be really quiet.
That's how I am. I remember my mom, this is when I was younger, and my mom used to get up and she'd start singing in the morning. And I used to start crying because I hated it. I'm like, I just want quiet. Just be quiet. So but now, like, even my boss, like, she knows, like, she don't even mess with me in the morning. Like, she give it till 9 o'clock, and then after that she'll contact me, but she know, like, she's like, okay, I'm not gonna mess with her at all. I'm like, give my brain a minute to adjust and to kick in. But I mean, I'm not cranky or anything. I used to be, but I'm not cranky. No. I just want quietness, like you said, Serious K. I just want quietness. Just give me peace. Let my brain kind of catch up. Let me have my coffee. I have my coffee. I'm good to go.
Well, this has been a full show, ladies. Thank you guys for your contributions, your expertise, your knowledge, your experiences. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you, HMV fam. We love you every single Saturday. We love you.
Yeah.
And it's hard without you. So don't leave us.
Yeah, we love you. We appreciate you, girl.
Yes, she's always holding it down for us. And you guys, please stay tuned and be in the know. We have a Patreon that's coming out soon, and it is going to be deeper, raw, naked conversations.
Yes.
Yes. A little deeper. No, not a little deeper. We got Queen A a lot deeper.
You know what? I try not to be so deep, y'all, but I can't help it.
A lot deep, bare, naked. Good conversations that is healing for the soul, because that is what we're all about. So stay tuned. We will be putting information out there, and we want you guys to get into that Patreon, and we're going to have a conversation, and they're going to be naked. So we're going to take the clothes off, not literally. So we love everybody, and we will see you guys next week. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Good night. Bye.